May profits be upon you. This is part two of the weekly Forex forecast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for watching. I'm going to leave a link for part two. For part one, I'm sorry, where I go over the indices, oil, gold, silver, and the US dollar index. I'm going to briefly review the US dollar index analysis, and then we're going to proceed with going over your euro, the Bravo, the pound, the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc, and the Japanese yen. Okay. As far as the U.S. dollar index is concerned, I had noted that we are in an up channel. We're trending up. We're in a channel. I don't use these to trade with, not at all. I don't use trend lines in my analysis, but I tend to point out, things that are obvious. And I happen to notice that, well, we're hitting this thing pretty pretty well, right? And I'm like, it would make sense that price would hit this side and then make its way on up, just the same way it made lower lows and lower highs on the way down, respected this side of the channel, this the support channel, and then we made uh, breaks of structure, bullish breaks of structure to the upside. And I'm thinking that that may continue all the way up to this top, to the top here, at least up to that high. All right. Uh, we'll see. If we take a closer look, if we take a closer look at this price action, what pointed out in the last video was, all right, um, you see this fair value gap here. It price traded past the swing high and respected. You see how it made, like a weak close above the high, but it did close above the high, which I'm looking for because it gives an intent as to what price wants to do. And then it continued higher, came down, hit the fair value gap, and then went higher. But this time, when it traded through convincingly. All right, that's not a what do you call it, a liquidity sweep. All right, that's not just a liquidity sweep. It's it traded through, so it pulled back. The problem is it didn't leave any fair value gaps. No fair value gaps. When I see an order block, and this is the order block here, this is the top of it, coming across with that gold line, and then trading through it. When I see that, and I don't see fair value gaps, unless it's not looking dependable to me. But because it closed so strong, above that swing high, I'm thinking that it may find support if price makes it back to the order block. And that's exactly what it did. It respected it here, respected it here. All right. That low of Friday did not take the low of Thursday. So I'm thinking that we may see a sweep. We may see a sweep of these lows before price goes higher. All right. I do not think we're going to go past uh, the order block. No, that's not my expectation. If it happens, then I'll make an adjustment. But should price take these lows out, then I'll adjust my bias. But right now, it's a bullish bias, and I'm looking for price to find support here and continue higher. All right. If we go to the euro, go straight to the euro. What I want you to see is these uh, price has made these lower lows, lower low, all right, lower high, lower low. We had a bearish break of structure, so I'm automatically bullish until this low is taken or this high is taken. I'm bearish. I'm sorry, because we had a bearish break of structure. Price pulls back into premium prices of this price range. This bearish leg of structure, traded back into it, hit the OTE, and we are bearish. What happens here? This is a weak low. That's why it's colored in a teal kind of color, because I believe once a low doesn't make a new high, all right, doesn't trade through to the new high, that means it's a failure. It's weak, and that it will be the target of liquidation. I've been saying it for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and we are making our way down and chopping our way down to that low. Here we are now. Do I think prices are going to go lower? Yes, I do. Does it necessarily have to happen this week? Well, this is NFP week. We're going to see some consolidation until NFP day Friday. And we are in consolidation, and we are in the middle of that consolidation. This is not a good time to be looking for a trade or forcing a trade. All right, this is pretty gnarly. All right, I'm going to look at the 4 hour the 4 hour, because I want to see if what I'm looking for, if I can get it. I can't get it. All right. What I'm looking for is fair value gaps. You see this fair value gaps? Fair value gaps. Price came up and disrespected all of them. Every last one of them. Right? We pulled back, did not take out the low, and you see price pushing a little higher, grinding higher. We may come up to the top of this consolidation. All right, that's why my arrow is stemming coming from there. Why? Because there is an order block up here, and we may come back up and test that order block. We may test one of the order blocks that was formed from this order block. So price may sweep this high, and then start falling down, coming after these lows here as a low resistance liquidity run. All right, we'll see. But this is going to be a very nice draw on liquidity if price continues higher come Monday and Tuesday. I'm looking for bullish prices at the beginning of the week, and then turning bearish. That's what I'm looking for. All right. If we go to the pound is very similar. You see where my arrow is, right? That's on the 4 hour. Let me get off that 4 hour real quick. All right. And you see that on the daily, we are in a bullish fair value gap, a daily fair value gap. Okay. And what I want to make note of is how come when price pulled back into this fair value gap, price didn't just take off and go higher? All right. Maybe that's not the intent. All right. If price takes out this fair value gap, that means these lows are becoming the target for liquidity. All right. And we are eating through it. So you see this Friday rejection here. All right. Yeah. It ended up in a bearish, a dovish kind of candle here. It's doji. It's not very indecisive, but again, this is the consolidation. This is where you don't want to start forcing things. All right. I'm thinking price is going to go lower because we are sitting right at the consummate encroachment, the 50% of this fair value gap. I'm thinking that price may go lower, and we might be coming towards these lows here. I'm looking for price to hit the top of these opposing candles as it comes down. I'm looking for price to hit that top there, and we'll see if we find support right under this fair value gap. But I'm looking for lower prices this week. All right. I hope that's understandable. Okay. I want to take a peek at something real quick. Make sure I'm not missing something. This was a weekly fair value gap here, right? This is a weekly fair value gap, and we're eating through it. We come down, instead of it reacting here, it came down further. It's coming down further here. Doesn't mean it's going to ultimately fold because it hasn't gone past. We're sitting right at the halfway mark of the fair value gap. We see a close below Friday's candle. We see a flow, not Friday's candle, but last week's low. We get a close below that low. Yeah, we can expect some lower prices to come. All right, quite possibly down to 1.25. All right, so we'll see. Next is the Aussie dollar. Look at the weekly. We have we have a very thin fair value gap, but you see all this this consolidation. This has been for weeks. All right, couple of months. All right, this is every candle is a week. and we're just in this consolidation. It's nasty. That's not something you want to play with. I'm not going to play with it either. All right. For people who trade ranges, consolidation, sell from the top, buy from the bottom. This is great for you, not great for me. I'm going to waste a lot of time on it. Leave it alone. There's other markets to go for. All right. If we go to NZD, this is a little bit better. Why? Because on the daily, you can see we are in this bullish fair value gap. I'm going to stay bullish until other proven different, until it proves to be different. All right. This we're hitting the order block. It intersects that fair value gap. I'm not thinking that price is going to just continue up because I am a leaning more bearish on the US dollar. All right. So I'm thinking that uh, we had a nice response, but look how deep before we see price moving up. We haven't seen price move up from this daily fair value gap. And it's making me think that there's a chance that this fair value gap is going to fail. Yeah. So I'm looking for the lower time frames, like the 4 hour. All right. And what I want to see is these. Let me be careful here. What I want to see is these fair value gap. Fair value gap. All right. I need to see structure. I need to see this high being taken. I need to see price trade through that. If I see price trading through that, then we're going to have higher prices because this is a low resistance liquidity run up to these highs. All right. Uh, then we're talking about something. I can move on something. All right. However, uh, there is a bearish fair value gap that forced price to take this break of structure into this fair value gap, into this bullish fair value gap, deeper. All right. We have the pull up. Yeah, I see some bullish fair value gaps. All right. But this is a pullback. All right. This is a pullback. We already had it turning bearish at the top. All right. If we take this high out with it, we trade through, then things will probably we'll be looking at higher prices. But right now, this thing could turn right on over. All right, respect the order blocks that are formed. All right, and we can definitely see lower prices. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on the New Zealand dollar. But if I'm going to take a long out of euro, pound, and New Zealand, I'm probably looking at a pound in New Zealand to take longs from if we start to see a break of structure to the upside. Does that make sense? All right. But right now, we have penetrated pretty deep. And if I see bearish fair value gaps forming, then I know it only confirms my bias. All right. Next, uh, US dollar CAD. This is CAD USD. All right, this is CAD USD. I'm going to go through this real quick. I'm show you what I mean by that. All right, on CAD USD, when you're looking at the futures, you're looking at CAD against the US dollar. When you're looking at it on a CFD, it's USD against the CAD. You understand? All right. So what am I looking for? This is not something I want to trade. There's other markets to trade, like the Aussie dollar. We are consolidating. I don't want to mess around with that. Why do it? That is chop suey. You want to get chop suey? You go ahead. You go ahead if you want to. All right. I'm waiting for clarity. I'm waiting for price to clear and trade through the top or trade through the bottom. I want to see a trading through it, not just a sweep. All right. That I don't want to get manipulated by a sweep. I want to see a trade through, and then I can start to look at that market and say, I'm going to take a trade. But for right now, the CAD is not with no fair value gaps, just consolidation. There's nothing to talk about. All right, I'm going to look at the. This is US dollar CAD. All right, this is the inverse of what we were just looking at. Uh, the CAD futures. All right, this is the weekly. Again, it's just consolidation. You see them going. It got the arrow going down. On the other one, I had that arrow going up. All right. There's some there's a low resistance liquidity run for higher prices. And I'm leaning that way because I think that the US dollar is going to gain some strength. But that's on the daily. On the weekly, on the daily, I mean, that was on the weekly. On the daily, this is a mess. This is not the way you want to see price delivered, period. End of story. If we go to the US dollar CAD, if we go to the 4 hour, you can see we got some structure going, higher highs and higher lows, right? That's good stuff. But what did the price do? It broke structure. Sorry, it's not. This thing is not acting right. All right, we're at this low. All right, and this is where price is right now. We're still in the middle of this mess. I just don't want to. I'm not even gonna. I just don't want to mess around and give you bad analysis on this, because this could be, it could go anywhere. All right, so we're gonna not mess around. We're gonna move on. Swiss. I happen to like the Swiss. Let me show you why. All right, this is Swiss US dollar. Swiss US dollar. This is the futures version. I will go to the other the CFD version. All right, you can see obviously we have a break of structure, a bearish break of structure. This is on the daily. All right. We see some consolidation here, and then we see the move back into this area of fair value. This is where the order block is. If we go to uh, the weekly, you can see it a little more clearer. All right. You see how it took out the high here? Took out the high. Wow. Took the high out here, pushed down, and now we're trading back into this weekly fair value gap, which we're respecting. I'm looking for lower prices, period. End of story. All right, it's pretty simple to me. If we take a harder look at it, get that out of here. All right, if we take a harder look at it, you can see how we traded into this fair value gap, this bearish fair value gap here. Come on, man. And that's on the weekly. I don't know why I drew that, because I already drew it. All right, boom. I didn't draw it. Okay. Okay. Boom. So, that's not it. All right. All right. You can see how we're respecting it, and prices falling. We've taken out the lows of the prior 2 weeks before it. And uh, this is looking like we're going to get those lower prices. Something else I want to point out. If we go to the daily, all right, if we go to the daily, I don't see it now. I don't know why. There it is. What we have here is a um, a push up. All right, we took out the high, traded through it. Looks like price wants to go higher. We pull down, up. All right, we got a high, a higher low, a higher high, and then we trade through that low, making a lower low. That is a breaker, folks. Pointed that out to you in US oil. I'm looking for price to come back up into this breaker and give us lower prices. So a couple of days, maybe we'll see a turnaround. Monday, Tuesday uh, might work its way up, and then midweek to the end of the week, we'll see a downturn, and I'm looking for prices to go lower. Okay, I think that is the last one. Or actually, Japanese yen, just bearish. That's it. All right. On the yen, I'm bearish. You understand? But on US dollar, Japanese yen, I am bullish. I'm looking for price to go higher. That's it. I'm looking for price to go higher. We're on a bullish fair value gap. So I'm looking for price to pop up from there. All right. Watch out for the interventions. That's going to happen. Thank you for watching this video. I will leave a link in the comments section and at the end of this video for you to check out the other video, the part 1 of it. And Enjoy your week.